What's good YouTube, it's Adam from I'm a Music Mogul and welcome to another video. Today we're going to continue on with that UK drill vibe and we'll be remaking JACKBOYS track GATTI with Pop Smoke and Travis Scott. So let's get straight to it. First things first, let's go ahead and change our tempo to 143 beats per minute. Shout out to produced by Peter Panna. He let me know where the sample came from for this record. Now in this remake, we're going to create it from scratch using stock plugins, of course. But for those of you who are interested, here is the sample. I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's called Mahagon Sluchen Pro Vinceta Van Gogha Pros Vicini. I'll probably screwed that up, but here's the sample right here. So shout out to produced by Peter Panna. This is the sample right here. I'll place a link in the description box below this video if you do want to try Remake with the sample. But today we're just going to go ahead and remake it with stock sounds. So first sound that we're going to bring in here is a Logic's Mellotron. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring that in right now. We'll be working on the strings. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and draw in the pattern using the stock sound. And it's a simple pattern. It's going to go something like this. I'm going to change my tool to 8s. And we're going to start on the E. And we're going to drop down to D. And we're just going to go ahead and repeat that. Just like that. Actually, apologies. I think that goes a little bit slower. Just like that. This actually gets stretched out over 8 bars, so let's just duplicate that. I'm just going to join those two together. Let's open up Mellotron, and we're going to change our sound A to the string section. We'll leave our tape speed on there, and our tone, maybe we'll bring it back a little bit. All right, next thing that we're gonna do here is just gonna bring in a chorus just to soften up the sound. We'll go to modulation chorus, keep it on mono. Just softens it up a bit. Next, we're gonna go ahead and bring in a free plugin. It's from Isotope Vinyl. We'll keep it on mono as well. And it's just a free plugin that replicates like a vinyl sound. And what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna pull up the warp depth, maybe about 30%ish, just to give it a little bit of bend in that sound, wobble. And that's pretty much it. Maybe we'll bring in some reverb as well. Let's bring in Logic's Space Designer. And we have our string section. Next, let's bring in the bass or the body of the sound. So we're gonna create a new softer instrument track. We'll go over to our browser window. We're gonna go to orchestral strings, and we'll be working with the Romance strings. And let's go ahead and just draw on that pattern. Let's close this up here. It's gonna go something like this. And it's gonna go on the root note here. One more octave down. Let's stretch that out. Maybe we'll soften up this sound as well here. Go to like a nice big one. And I think for this, it drops out at the end. All right, next is going to create a new softer instrument track, and we're going to bring in like a brass sound to complement these strings over here. Let's go to our browser window. We're gonna go to orchestral. We're gonna go to brass, and we're gonna go to French horns solo. And let's just copy this down here. Let's bring that down 1 octave. Just get a little bit of that brass body in there. All right, so that's pretty much for the intro section here. Next, let's push forward to the next section. So for the next section, we'll be working on the verse. So what we're gonna do here is copy over the romance strings here and the French horn as well. And what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna go ahead and just duplicate this over 2 octaves. Just give it a little bit more girth, and we're gonna do the same thing for our French horn as well. But we're gonna push this one up an octave. And it'd be helpful if I unmute that. All right, next let's go and create a new software instrument track. We're gonna bring in a second set of strings. We're using the same pattern as this, but we're gonna make it double time. And we're gonna go to orchestral, strings, studio strings. And for the pattern, it's gonna duplicate this over. For the pattern, it's gonna go double time here. So zoom on in. Push that back. Maybe it's easier if we just do this. Whoa. Copy all that. I'll just duplicate that. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna open up our velocity tool here, and we're gonna make it not hit at the same velocity every time. It's gonna be louder on the first hit, and it's gonna get quieter as it plays out for 2 bars. And it's gonna give you like that effect of a delay, if you will, if we just played 2 notes at the top. But okay, so let's go ahead and draw that in here. Just make this window bigger. It's gonna go something like this. We're just gonna draw it downwards. And what we're gonna do here is actually we'll just duplicate that pattern here. Take that out, delete that, copy over the same melody, just like that. And we're gonna duplicate this over 2 octaves as well. See that? It sounds sort of like a delay, but not. Next, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put in a chorus like we do on strings, just to soften it up a little bit. We'll go to a preset. That right there makes it sound more tapey. Next, let's go ahead and bring in that vinyl again and bring up the warp depth to give it that tape feel. Once again, this is a free plugin, so if you go to iZotope, you can get that. It's a great tape plugin. Gives you that wobble effect. I'm just gonna pull back on this exciter a bit. And let's go ahead and bring in some reverb, Logic Space Designer. All right, so there's that right there. Huge anticipation. As always, in these types of tracks, a lot of anticipation, a lot of build up. So there it is right there. Those are the strings. Next, let's go ahead and bring in that eagle sound that we hear on the 1. It's gonna go ahead and drag it into our session here. And it's going to go like this. And we're just going to add in Logic Space Designer, and we're going to give it a huge reverb here. And it could be, not sure if it's probably not the same one, but just got an eagle sound. Just push that in the background. I just got that one off of YouTube as a sound effect. Alright, that sounds good. Next is create a new software instrument track. Go to Logic's EXS24 sampler instrument. I'm going to bring in the GATTI drum kit. Now the drum sounds that I'm using are sounds from both my JACKBOYS drum kit as well as my UK drill drum kit, the London's Calling. I'll place those as a link in the description box below this video. But for now, let's go ahead and draw in our snare sound. We got to get our snare, and we're going to use that classic UK drill pattern that we used in our tutorial earlier this week. Here's our snare sound. So it goes on the 3 and then on the 4. Get that in on the 3. And then on the 4. And then we're going to pretty much do the same thing. Repeat that. I could give this a little bit more reverb here. All right, next let's go duplicate that track. We'll take off that reverb and let's go ahead and draw in our kick. Let's go duplicate that. I think here there's like a double tap. And those go out there. All right, next let's go duplicate this track and let's draw in our hi-hat pattern. Once again, it's going to follow that same style that we did earlier this week. And we're just going to build it into like a crazier hi-hat pattern. Let's go bar by bar, makes things a little bit easier. We'll add in our rolls as we go. I believe there's a 30-second roll here. Go back to our pencil tool. All right, we'll go over to the next bar. Actually, this is making it hard. Let's play it out just like that. I think there's 3. let's move on to the next 4 bars. Brush that in. Brush in a 30-second note here. All right, I think that's the hi-hat pattern right there. Bring a Logic sample delay. I'm just gonna pull up this by quite a bit actually, make it nice and wide. All right, next let's go ahead and create another instance of this drum kit. We're gonna get to those 808s. Let's take off that sample delay. Let's draw in the pattern. We're gonna start on the root notes. That is D. All right, the 808s are overlapping here. Got to make sure our mono is set here. I think that goes something like that. All right, next we got to bring in those gliding notes here. So let's go ahead and draw those in. All right, so we're just gonna go up an octave here. All right, to hear that a little bit better, we're gonna go to legato and get those glides happening. Pull this up to about 60 milliseconds. So it plays that a little bit better there. And I think there's another glide at the end here. Once again, we're gonna go to an octave up from that kick, or 808. All right, next we're gonna make this 808 a little bit more punchy and full. So let's open up our EXS24 and we're just gonna turn this right here to on. And this way we can control our cutoff drive, and I'm gonna turn this fat on as well. Pull up the drive, add in some harmonic distortion. All right, so there is our verse part. Next, let's go ahead and just duplicate this over, and we're gonna work on our hook part. So let's move this cycle range over, and we're gonna create a new software instrument track, and we're gonna get this whistle sound that comes into play here. So we're gonna go over to our browser tool. We're gonna go to Legacy. We're gonna go to Jam Pack Voices. We're gonna go to Soloist, and we're gonna bring in Whistler. And this is, or at least this is the closest sound I found to the one in the track. So let's go ahead and draw in that pattern. We're gonna start off with the pattern, and we'll manipulate the sound after. Let's go to here. So there's the pattern right there. All right, next let's go ahead and just pull up the volume so it's louder. I'm gonna pull up the attack so it's a little bit more of a build up. See if we pitch this up one octave. No, that's better like that. All right, so I'll just use the effect that comes there, the overdrive. Let's bring in a chorus, modulation chorus to soften this up. Now it's starting to get that sound. Next, let's bring in Logic's Exciter. And I'm just going to bring in EQ, and I think there's some low end info that we can take out. That's actually not much, but maybe we'll peak. We'll do like a Q and peak at the root note here. All right, that's good there. Let's go ahead and create a new software instrument track. And we're going to bring in Logic's Alchemy. We're going to duplicate this over, have the same pattern, but on this sound, we're going to go ahead and bring in a vocal sound. So we're going to go to vocals, female, and we're going to go to, I think it was this preset here, Amanda IAMM. It's going to sound like this. I'll pull up the attack as well on this. And this will layer this whistle sound. I'm gonna go duplicate this sound here, and on this last melody portion here, I'm gonna make it more staccato. So I'm gonna bring down our attack, make it a little bit sharper. And I'll make it a little bit louder as well. All right, so that's good like that. Next, what we got to do here is change up our 808 pattern. So I'm just going to bring this down here, open that up. This comes out. This gets pushed over. All right, so we get some crazy glides happening here. Zoom on in here. Let's just first fix our root note. Push this up one octave. All right, so there's our glides. Next, we're going to duplicate this 808 track, and there's like a sub gliding thing happening. It's a little bit of a different sound, so that's why we're going to create a different pattern and track. Open that up. I think this goes even higher. All right, yeah, that went higher. So now, I think it happens right here on the second bar. We get like this gliding thing happening here. that's pretty much the pattern right there. Open up our inspector. Go to the X24. Let's focus on those two patterns. To make this a little bit more buzzy, we're gonna go ahead and just pull up the attack. See how it kind of gives you that dong 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 dong. I'll pull up the drive a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and duplicate this over, and we got to work on our next set of 808s. They switch up quite a bit, so let's work on this one here. Let's mute that. Bring that back, take that out. Let's focus on this last pattern here. Alright, now we got to work on this B808 pattern. Zoom on out. Okay, that's okay. It'd be nice if we hear that. Do. Alright, so there's the 808 patterns. My whole session is distorting like crazy, but we can fix that once we do the arrangement. Next, what we got to do is change up the snare pattern as well. That does switch up. Let's go ahead and just get that set up. We kind of get like taps here. That snare comes out. right, that sounds good. And then we get another sound here, just kind of hits at the same time as the hi-hat. Let's go ahead and draw that in. We'll leave the sample delay because we're going to use it. It happens in the second bar here. And for our sample delay, we're just going to push instead of our right channel. Sorry, instead of our left channel, we're going to do our right. Push that up. And here's our hook. All right, so there is sort of the foundation to the beat. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just put a pause on the video and arrange this, and we'll come right back. All right, so just like that, the remake is all put together. It's not the full song. I think it's about 2/3 of the way, but for the tutorials, like, you get the idea. We cleaned it up so it's not clipping like crazy in our session, and that's pretty much it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Listen to the remake we just put together. JACKBOYS, GATTI, let's go. Alright, right there is the GATTI remake, JACKBOYS, Pop Smoke, Travis Scott. For your Logic users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you guys, place it as a downloadable link in the description box below this video. For your non-Logic users out there, got your back as well. I'm going to go and export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that we used in this remake. Find it in the description box below this video. I'll also link the sample that was used in this song if you do want to remake it with the sample. I'll link it down below as well. But that's it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this remake. If you do have a question on this, we can go ahead and talk in the comment section below. As usual, if you did like this video, remember thumbs up, share this video, and of course hit that subscribe button. We are coming close on 300k, and once we hit 300k, we will be giving away a bunch of stuff, so stay tuned for that. That's it. Hopefully you guys are all staying safe, making some good music while you're at home, and we will see you all in the next one. Later. Peace.